Masechet Menahot Daf Nun He Amud Aleph, first wide line by the Mishnah. Kol Menahot Nilo Shot B'Poshrin. Menahot has to be kneaded when the water is lukewarm. Umishamran Shelo Yahmetz, so you have to make sure it doesn't become Hametz. V'Mehmetzu Shiareh, and if the remainder became Hametz after you did Kimisa, the stuff that's eaten, עובר לא תעשה, עובר לא תעשה. שנאמר הכל מנחה אשר תקריבו להשם לא תעשה חמץ. For Hashem it shouldn't be Hametz. The Hayav al Lishta, also a person's Hayav if you worked with the Minha while it was Hametz, whether it was the kneading, Ba'al or shaping it, Ba'al Fiyata, or baking it. You know, I know this from Marash Lakish Tamar Krapasu says, Da'ote Afe Hazmes Halkam. Yisham Hametz, their portion. I feel Halkam Lote Afe Hametz, even the Kohen's portion cannot be baked as Hametz. That's what we know, the leftovers. All right, the Achiyuata once an episode does not come teach us that. We need that for the following Braita. Lo te'afeh hametz. You can't bake it as hametz. Not Matumar is teaching you. But look, Omar, the pasuk already says lo te'aseh hametz. Another pasuk says so like lo te'aseh hametz. So since it says any mincha cannot be hametz, lo yachol yeh hayav ela achat l'kol maybe you have only one set of lashes for all types of preparations. The Gemara says lo te'afeh hametz, lo te'afeh, don't bake it. Afiyah b'chal hayta. Baking is already included. That's why I mentioned it again. La'akish le'ah, to include other things. Ma'afiyah mi'achadesh shehi me'aseh yachid. Like baking is unique that it has a singular act. فحابين عليها بثنين أسماء يخيا like makut for it separately. أفعل نبي اللي شتابع على خطاب خمس حديث about anything else like kneading and shaping also خيا separate makut. The Gemara says لا tuye kituf. So it comes to include even smoothing. That's the other stuff. شو معصية دي also it's also separate. فحابين عليها بثنين أسماء يخيا for every single one of these acts by itself. So we see that this pasuk is used for that. Gemara says أنا محل كم كم يوم. No, we learn from the pasuk that says their portion. That's what we learn from. The Gemara says, "Ve'ema kula da'achivata." Maybe that's also part of the same limud, teaching you this chayav. The Gemara says, "Imken letov halkam lo te'afeh chametz." It could just written like that. My lo te'afeh chametz halkam. Why did they write that way? I'm going to tell you for teaching you both halachot. Each act is chayav, and also the remainder cannot become chametz. Ve'ema afiyad the parat barachman maybe baking, which the Torah says is chayav specifically. La chayav hada mi chayav one. Inach and all the other acts. You should be have only for one for all, meaning baking, which is separated and specified. Okay, have one separately. But the other stuff, which was not specified in Torah, maybe you should only have one for all. Gemara says no. Baking is something that's included in generalization. Then it specified afterward. To teach you, did not come to teach which were left, the baking. So it's teaching the entire generalization. Not only is it chayav for the act itself, so to anything else is chayav for each act. Maybe you have the generalization of the word "don't do it." Lo then specifies prat, don't bake it. Klalo prat, you have a generalization specification. You the generalization is limited to only the specification of in only baking, not anything else. The Gemara says no. That generalization and specification are far away from each other in the pasuk. They're far away from each other. And then you can't do that generalization specification limud. So 1 second. You can't do that. 1 second. It's time that it says Asher Yishhat. So Yishhat Atomim Koma Asher Yishhat Allah Chatatu. Hey Khan Shahid, we know that Allah slaughtered. But I've one in the north. I've said regarding the hatat of a ruler, the king also has to bring it in the Nasi that has to bring it in the north. I know Mikal, where do you learn that from? The Pasuk already says the place where you slaughter the Allah, that's where you slaughter the hatat. So what does it say? So why do we exclude this over here by the ruler? To establish it in the north. If you didn't slaughter in the north, pislot pasul. So I thought you say that's the reason why it was separated. Well, maybe only this is needed north. Nothing else needs north. So the pasuk says, he's hatat Allah. This is the general rule that all hatat are needed to be slaughtered in the north. Okay. The reason why the north is required over here is because it specified it again. Without that, you would have thought this needs the north. And nothing else needs north. My time why? You would have learned in the cloud prat, even though they're far away from each other, the net of the cloud prat still works. So why question against the Rafurtuki? The Gemara says Matif Rashe, it's not a high cloud prat, that's not a cloud prat. Prat uklal Oh, it's a specification, then there's a decision. But I'll say klal mosifa, but therefore the the translation is expanding the specification. Ve'itrabelahu lekomili, and therefore it's including all hataot in the same halacha of the north. Elatana oto kakashtes. Now, the Tana was bothered by the word oto, yani the king's hatat. V'achi kamar says as follows. O eno el shazit halum safon. The word hatat was only mentioned specifically to teach you that you need north. Ve'ena hatin safon, nothing else needs north. Tefev rahmana oto, because it mentions it, nothing else. V'ash nafka mishahavet achad, now that you know that you learn from the pasuk of slaughtering it, is not excluding other korbanot, like we just said. What's the word to come to exclude? المعوت is as follows. نشون بجهاد عوف ببسخ سيمان. Oto b'tzafon, it is, has to be in the north. Ve'en se'er Nachshon b'tzafon, and not the goat of Nachshon ben Nadav, which was the inaugural korbanos, need to be slaughtered in the north. So that's when you would have thought with that ability and smicha, since the hatat was included with this leaning of the animal, the terabin, I mean, Nachshon, so it also means slaughtered in the north. Kamashon, therefore teaches you not. Usmicha gufana heno, that you have to lean on the animal of the Nachshon in the north. Sorry, I had to lean it out. The Hanbal says, "V'samach yido al rosh ha'sa'ir." You lean the hand on the goat head. Then about seir nachshon amimticha. Even the nachshon's goat needs to be lead. The other is going to be Rishon. Which one says that about seirei avot l'chavim smicha. Even the goats of a that we brought for bnei Yisrael did avodah zarah, even they need to be smicha. Okay, Ravina, another question. Tenach the Rabbi Yehuda needs to go to Rabbi Yehuda, who said that the hatat by the inauguration needed smicha. That's why you would think they need north. The Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Mike name, why would you even need that? Whereas the Mother Moses Torah B'dereh Mara Ravina, the Maya Danami, even according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's a question. Might Rabbi Yehuda, because technically, whatever we learned extra for the inauguration, they included. My Lord, Rabbi Lord, but if it was not. Therefore, if you only did smicha, that would not teach you anything about slaughtering. Rashi says, "V'chitim you say ilo ma'ate krav Torah did not include it. Hava amina tete b'inav. You should learn like b'inav, like mentioned before, that it applies to all general hataot. Smicha gufa l'ishto krav mineh. If that's the case, then by leaning, you don't have to mention it at all. But tete b'inav, also from the b'inav that's included through other hataot that you need to do smicha. Ella sha'am midot la'ifin, must be that we don't learn. The reason why we need the pasuk for Yudah is because we don't learn halachot from the korbanot of the inauguration, because that was a one-time korban, and therefore, so over here we cannot learn the north requirement for the korban of the inauguration teach you that applies to all generations. So the question again, why do we need the pasuk if it's not needed to teach us for the inaugural hatat? We'll continue from tomorrow.